Today, we're finishing up our supplement series with one of the biggest misconceptions I see in women's health when it comes to your metabolism after 40, and that is collagen. Now, let me start by saying that collagen is amazing. I am not anti collagen. In fact, collagen is incredibly important to your body. It is the most abundant protein peptide structure in the human body, and it plays a foundational role in the health of your skin, your joints, your connective tissue, gut lining, tendons, ligaments, hair, and nails. It is super important. So, yes, collagen is absolutely necessary and it matters. But here's where many women get so confused. Collagen is not a complete protein and does not do the same job as a complete dietary protein when it comes to muscle retention, metabolism, and body composition. Today, I want to explain the difference because this matters so much in perimenopause and beyond. Now, let's talk about what collagen actually is. First of all, collagen is a structural protein made up of primarily amino acids called glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. These amino acids help build and maintain the structural framework of the body. Think of collagen as part of the body's scaffolding. It helps support your skin's elasticity, connective tissue integrity, tendon and ligament strength, cartilage, joint comfort, blood vessels, and gut lining support. These are all super important functions and structures in your body, and collagen helps hold that body together. This is why collagen supplementation can be beneficial for, and that's what you would use for skin support, joint support and recovery, and then your hair and nails. So also connective tissue healing can be a part of that, and this collagen as a supplement can be a part of your healthy aging from a structural standpoint. It absolutely has its place. The critical difference here is that just because collagen is the most abundant protein in the body does not mean it performs the same role as a complete dietary protein. And this is where people get tripped up. A complete protein contains all 9 essential amino acids in adequate amounts. And these are the amino acids the body cannot make on its own. Collagen does not contain all 9 of these. I just mentioned 3 of them. Most importantly, it is missing 2 key amino acids, one called tryptophan and one called leucine. It's very low in leucine, and it's also low in something called branch chain amino acids. If you are a weightlifter, you probably heard of this. Those are all critical for muscle protein synthesis. Collagen supports your structure, but complete protein supports your muscle. Just hear that again. Collagen supports your structure, but a complete protein supports your muscle. So why is leucine a big deal? What's so magical about leucine? This is where the science becomes really important for women, especially over 40. Leucine is one of the main amino acids that acts like a signal to tell the body, build and preserve your muscle tissue. That's a very important message for your body to receive. This is called muscle protein synthesis. And as we move into perimenopause and beyond, we become more vulnerable to losing lean muscle mass. And this happens because estrogen declines, muscle protein synthesis becomes less efficient. We're not very good at it after age 30. We start to lose our muscle because of this. And insulin sensitivity may decrease, which causes a slower recovery, and muscle breakdown actually starts to increase. After 40, muscle preservation becomes a strategy, not something that just happens automatically like when you were in your teens and even your 20s. That sounds very frustrating, a little bit daunting, but here is the science to break this down and to help motivate you to get on this and make sure you're getting in the right proteins. There was a study done that showed with researchers that people who consume approximately 20 to 30 grams of high quality complete protein after exercise significantly stimulated muscle protein synthesis, largely because of the leucine content. This is one of the studies that help establish why complete proteins matter so much for healthy muscle retention and healthy aging. Now, when you want to talk about muscle preservation and building, your total intake of complete proteins needs to be 100 grams minimum a day so that you get the ample amount of leucine in your diet. I will link the study in the show notes if you want to take a little bit bigger look at this. Why does this matter in perimenopause? This is why I want women to understand in midlife that if you're trying to support fat loss and muscle retention, increase your metabolism, and improve your blood sugar, your strength, your body recomping, making sure you have enough muscle and less fat. Collagen alone is not going to do it. That is not enough. Your collagen coffee is not replacing 25 to 30 grams of a complete protein at breakfast. Women say all the time to me, I'll ask how much protein they're getting when they're eating it. And they'll say, well, I put a scoop of collagen in my coffee every morning. So that's at least 12 grams right there, or whatever their version is. And they think that they are adding that to their total intake per day. And that's just not how it works. As estrogen declines, your muscle becomes one of the most important tissues to preserve because it helps support your resting, metabolic rate, your insulin sensitivity, bone support, healthy aging, mobility, and independence later in life. And isn't that something that we all want to keep? And this is where a complete protein becomes foundational. How can you use both, and do you need to? My opinion is that I think it's important to use both. This doesn't mean you should stop taking your collagen supplement. It means that you need to use it for the right purpose, and you need to understand that it is different than a complete protein. Your complete protein is going to be for your muscle, your metabolism, longevity, blood sugar stability, fat loss support, all the things we've talked about so many times already just in this episode. And your collagen is going to be used for skin, joints, connective tissue, your hair, and gut lining, which are all very, very important, but they do different things in the body. These are complementary. They are not interchangeable. All right, one more time. They are complementary, not interchangeable. Here are some recommendations that you can take on right today if you want. For most women in perimenopause and beyond, I want to see 25 to 30 grams complete protein per meal at minimum. I'd prefer if you push it up a little bit to that 30 to 40. Again, if you have some kind of this applies to so many of the recommendations I'm making here, but if you have a condition that doesn't allow you to use the recommendation I'm saying, you need to listen to your healthcare provider. But I would say if you could push it to 30 to 40 grams per meal, starting especially at breakfast, you are going to get your complete protein in for the day. You're going to stimulate muscle cell protein synthesis by doing so. Then you can layer in collagen separately if needed for connective tissue support. Women often are taking these things to help with their hair, skin, and nails. But remember, it's a structural support. It helps with basically the foundation in your body. It's really important to layer those things. Don't use them interchangeably. And a common way that I use collagen is I just put a scoop in my morning coffee. I think it says that there's a total of, I don't know, 10 or 13 grams of protein in it, but I don't really count that towards my total protein intake for the day. And then I will have an actual breakfast with protein in it in order to get those levels up so that I stimulate muscle cell protein synthesis. Now, some good examples you can take for complete proteins aside from food. I will link my favorite ones below in the show notes, but you can use a beef isolate, a whey isolate if you are not sensitive to dairy. Some people can tolerate egg white protein. I don't typically give recommendations for that one. I don't have one that I use that I like a lot, or any kind of paleo version protein is usually the best bet for you to use versus some lower quality proteins like soy-based proteins and things like that. Collagen, on the other hand, you're going to want to add to coffee, tea, smoothies, things like that. Something you would do with a post-workout, or like myself, I do that kind of right away in the morning with my coffee. And it is, again, one of the most abundant proteins in the body. It's incredibly important for the body, but it's not going to help you preserve or build the muscle for healthy aging and making sure your metabolism is on point. This is why protein is one of the core foundations in everything I do and everything I teach in all of my programs. If you would like to learn more about this and all the other foundations, you can fill out the form in the show notes. You can fill it out and see if you are a good fit for the program, and we can discuss things if you need more information. And I would love to help you out. So, again, there'll be links to a good collagen recommendation, a good protein recommendation in the show notes, as well as the links to the study to explain why you need a complete protein in your diet, and take a look at those so you can educate yourself and be in the know.